Hello, this video is going to cover some expectations for the papers. You have four papers for this class, as well as provide a brief instructional video for Chicago formatting. I know that's something that's new to a lot of us. So first, expectations for the papers. The purpose of this assignment, so it's four short papers that kind of, when you put them all together, make one big paper, is for you to demonstrate to me that you have carefully learned the content of the course. And when I say the content of the course, I mean the lecture videos, I mean the readings, and any other podcasts or articles or videos that are included in the modules. So those are your sources for the paper. Every few sentences, unless you are telling a personal story, you should be referencing a source from the course. I don't, you can use some supplemental materials. So if there's a book you read or an article you read that relates to the paper that's not part of the course content, you can reference it, but that should be the minimum. The main thing that you are referencing in your paper is the content of the course. And that's because as I said, the purpose of the paper is for you to demonstrate that you have learned what we have put together for you to learn. And so as you're writing, you should be continually sharing things that you learned from those materials I listed and then properly referencing them. These papers are not just collections of your thoughts on spirituality. It is you presenting the material of the course in your own words. That's the first task. And then the second task is showing that you not only know the material, but you also have taken time to thoughtfully reflect upon it and integrate it into your life. So an example of this would be from the lecture videos, you learned that theology and spirituality are two different things, and that, like a train track, you really need both in order to stay on track. And so you would put that in your own words, and then you would reference that lecture video. After doing that, you might want to say, reflecting on this, I've realized that I spend a lot of time thinking about theology, but it's harder for me to reflect on spirituality, specifically at my job. And then maybe you give an example of that. So you see how you've provided the content, but now you are also reflecting. And so as I read your paper, I should see many references to the lecture videos, to the course readings, and to any of the supplements we've provided. And then as you work through them, you're also offering up your own personal reflection on that material. Part of the reason we frame it this way is because we want to make sure that you are actually learning, right? So if you just kind of write a scattering of the thoughts in your head with no citations, that's just you thinking about spirituality. But the purpose of this course is to introduce you to ancient, valued wisdom about spirituality and for you to learn it and then internalize it. So that's the expectation. And just to be really clear, anything under that is not going to get you a good grade in this course. So make sure you are relying on the content of this course and that you are then citing it correctly. Finally, that you are offering concrete examples from your personal life about how the material relates to you. That's the goal of the paper. Okay, and so now for a second part, we're going to walk through Chicago formatting. And so I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll just look at what my expectations are in terms of the actual formatting of your paper. So you all have access to this document. I emailed it out on June 3rd. You can pull it up whenever you want. This is a great sample paper. These blue boxes have directions for writing in Chicago's. We're specifically looking at the author date style. I prefer the notes, but it seems like from conversations with students that this might be easier to learn. So we're going to look at this one. And then anything in a green box is containing an explanation for why Chicago Manual of Style has these guidelines. Okay, so every paper needs a cover page, and your cover page will not have a number up here. It will have your title towards the top of the page, centered. And so this would not, your title would be something more like Exploring Spirituality and the Self, or The Bible, Theology, and Spirituality. You would have a title, something like that, or maybe you want to get creative with it. And then down here, you're just going to have your name, the name of the class, and the date. Okay, so let's get into the paper itself. Here, you're going to have your page number. You don't need a last name. Just the number of the page should be on the right-hand corner. And this, remember, is not page 1. This is page 1. So when the actual text appears, notice that it's in, this is probably Times Roman font. It's double spaced, and your first line of each paragraph is indented. So indent, and then go down here. When a new paragraph begins, it's indented again. That's really important. And then there are a couple different ways to do your in-text citation. So let's say that um, you're citing this book, In Democracy and Other Neoliberal Fantasies, Jody Dean, so that's the author. So because you are mentioning the author, the only thing you're going to include afterwards is the year of the book that you're referencing. So you have both the book name and the author already in the text. So all you need to put in parentheses is the date. But let's find another example. Other times you are, okay, so this is a good example here. Here they included information from a different book. Because they didn't put the information in the text itself, here's what's going to go in the parentheses. The last name of the author and the year the book was published, comma, and the book number. Okay, so let's say that you guys were referencing your textbook, which is Soul Feast. That's written by Marjorie J. Thompson. So you would have Thompson, 1994, whatever year it was published, comma, and then the page number that you're referencing. So that's going in the parentheses. So here you can see why this format is called author date. You have the author's name, the date, the year it was published, and then always make sure you put that page number in when you are referencing specific information. Again, the expectation is that you are pulling on source material continually through the writing of your paper. So you might think, oh, if I reference the book once, I'm good. No, you need to have references continually throughout your paper. Remember, we're not asking for just your thoughts on spirituality. We're asking you to present the content of the course in the writing of your paper. And then at points, you'll provide your personal reflections, and those obviously don't need to be cited if it's just your reflection. Okay, let's go down. This is a really long paper, so you have to scroll for a while. But let's go down to the bibliography so we can look at that. Okay, so references is in the center of the page, and then you're going to have a list of your sources that you've used alphabetically. And you'll see that this has a little gap right here. This is called a hanging indent. Now, I'm going to pause here and show you guys a tool that I like to use, and that's a citation generator. So I'm totally okay with you guys using citation generators, and a good citation generator will create this hanging indent for you. So I'm just going to show you one that I enjoy. So I use this one. And let's do a couple examples so you can see. And this website is scribbr.com, SCRIBBR.com. And then they have a citation generator you'll click on. Make sure that you're in Chicago style. And then let's put in the name of our textbook, Soul Feast, although you won't only be referencing this again, many different articles, books, and videos that you should be referencing. Okay, Soul Feast, An Invitation to Christian Spiritual Life by Marjorie Thompson. That's the one. So then when I click on it, a reference is going to pop up for me. Scroll down, and it's going to give you a couple different things. So if I am putting it in my text, right? Then this is what I would want, parentheses, but it's going to make mistakes. Like, look at this, Thompson and Marjorie. Now we know it's not Thompson and Marjorie. It's not two different people. It should just be Thompson, comma. So these citation generators can be helpful, but they can also provide mistakes for sure. So if we go here, this is our in-text. Oh, there we go. So this is our in-text citation when you click that, but this is what you'll put under references in your bibliography. And so you can copy it. Once it's copied to your clipboard, you should be able to paste it. So I'm fine with you using a citation generator to make your life a little bit easier, but it is absolutely essential that you quote your sources in the body of your text as you're using them, and then again when you are using your references. Um, okay. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Any other questions, you can feel free to email me, but hopefully that's enough information to get started with. And I know that this is a challenge. Some of us aren't used to writing academically like this, and it's going to take time for sure. You should be committing hours of this. Because at the end, you really want to have these 4 papers that are a product of your hard work and a product that displays and demonstrates how you have carefully learned and integrated the material of the class. So those are the expectations. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. And as always, reach out to me with any further questions. Thank you guys and enjoy your day.